Right, hi there. I thought I'd speak to you today about sketching a gradient function. Now on this graph here we've got an x and a y, and this function here is y equals fx, so something to do with fx. Now what I want to do is I want to draw the graph of y equals f dash x. So be able to look at something and instantly tell whether it's an increasing function, whether it's a decreasing function, and it really helps us with bits of understanding about the function itself. Now the things I want us to notice is that when you come here we've got an increasing function, and then when we get to there we've got what we call a stationary point, that one's a maximum. But at that point, the gradient, or f dashed of x, would be equal to 0. So if I translate that down to my graph that's underneath, I know that this graph is going to go through 0. So f dashed x there would be equal to 0. And also, when we come around here, decreasing function going to an increasing function, at this point here, I've got a gradient of 0 again, because that's a minimum. And so I know that on this axis, I'm going to cross through these 2 points. Now let's think about what I said about this bit here. That there is an increasing function, so that means the gradient is above 0. It's a positive gradient, so that means this graph will be above 0. And then here, the graph's below 0 and comes back to 0 here. So the gradient here is decreasing function, so the function's decreasing, so the gradient will be negative. And I think you can see there the function's increasing again, so it'll be positive. And that, as you would expect, that is a quadratic function. So the key idea is look for the turning points, and they will be where they cross the axes. Some of the other things you just have to do by eye, but you're thinking, okay, that's where it crosses the axes. Increasing means positive gradient, so positive graph, negative gradient, negative graph, positive gradient, positive graph. Now there are some graphs that are a bit harder to deal with. So for example, what if I had a graph that came like that? All you have to do is look at the gradient. Right, so the gradient here is positive, 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 and it's coming down towards 0. So this is where it's steepest, so the gradient is the highest there. So I would expect my gradient function to be high here, and then the gradient's coming towards 0, so I'm going to make it come towards 0. So this one would be y equals x, and this will be y is equal to f dashed x, the gradient function. And that really should be all you need to know. Here, look for the turning points. If there are no turning points, look at the gradient, look at where it's the highest, look at where it's heading to. So here it's heading to a gradient of 0, so this is heading down to the 0 axis. Okay, I think that should be a simple enough start for us all. Right, thank you.